Ferrari is pushing forward. At the Austrian Grand Prix, the Maranello team is debuting its third floor specification of the 2025 Formula One season, following the initial update introduced at the Bahrain Grand Prix. On that occasion, the improvements were limited, but for the Spielberg weekend, the team hopes for a more tangible impact while awaiting the introduction of changes to the rear suspension. In theory, the new suspension was originally scheduled for the British Grand Prix weekend in Silverstone. However, nothing is confirmed yet. The Maranello-based team is doing everything possible to stay on schedule, but if delays arise, the update could be postponed by 3 weeks and arrive only after the summer break at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium. In the meantime, floor modifications are expected, which have been designed to support and pave the way for future developments. This was previously discussed on June 5th, over a month and a half ago, when the Italian team had identified the 11th round of the season as a concrete opportunity to introduce this key change in one of the car's most sensitive areas for aerodynamic load generation. On Thursday in Spielberg, during routine pit stop practice, the first differences were already visible on Dino Beganovic's car. The Ferrari engineers and technicians have once again modified the floor of the SF25, a major component in which the Maranello team places high hopes. Many of the anticipated changes remain invisible, as they are focused around the keel and diffuser areas. The basic idea remains the same, as mentioned since the start of the year, when the car's unstable high-speed behavior was first highlighted. This issue was discussed in Bahrain when the first correction was introduced. The SF25 single-seater lacks aerodynamic load both in twisty sections and in medium to high-speed corners. This vertical downforce shortfall can only be partially recovered during the current campaign, but it can certainly help open up the car's operating window, allowing access to a significantly broader setup range, crucial for finding better aero-mechanical compromises. Ferrari's suspension kinematics are inherently softer, which means it allows more squat or compression. While this might offer a good theoretical compromise, it has not delivered the expected results in the first 10 races of the 2025 Formula One season. This is why close analysis of the car's behavior in upcoming rounds will be especially relevant. The outwash effect has therefore been modified as the floor adjustments aim to reduce suspension compression sensitivity. A comparison reveals development work in the area where the outer fence connects to the floor's inlet volume. The difference is small, but it aims to influence the vortex structure generated by this flow diverter, which redirects airflow outward to create the outwash effect. Managing its energy level is essential to maintain its efficiency. Other updates are focused on the vertical fences at the floor's leading edge. These elements are responsible for a significant portion of the floor's downforce production and can improve floor performance by up to 15%. No major changes are visible on the floor's sharp edge, which suggests modifications may involve the volume of various recesses used to house vertical structures flowing through the floor. Ferrari aimed to create a more downforce-efficient floor by modifying the area underneath, making it more effective under different driving conditions. The goal was to expand the aerodynamic map, improving the availability of vertical load during yaw, pitch, and roll, particularly in roll, which becomes critical when the car enters the squat phase and the rear suspension compresses. Ferrari therefore shows up at the Austrian Grand Prix weekend with a new floor on the SF25, aiming to regain competitiveness. This marks a new floor specification introduced by the Italian team this season, following the update brought to Bahrain. It's also the first component of a wider upgrade package designed to correct the car's weaknesses. Under the leadership of Leclerc, the team has put in significant effort, and it will now be up to the track to validate the effectiveness of this key ground effect component. The most noticeable differences compared to the previous version are found around the vortex generator, positioned behind the outermost floor fence. The new flow diverter no longer features the dual-step design but adopts a more rounded shape. The goal is to alter how vortices are managed along the floor edge, which helps seal the floor and improve aerodynamic stability. This update adjusts the vortex incidence angle, enhancing stability through a more streamlined appendix shape. Following this change, the Maranello engineers and technicians have also modified the lateral extractor, a crucial element for reducing understeer. This component plays a key role in generating the edge vortex that flows along the floor's outer edge, sealing the underfloor and preventing airflow leaks that could disrupt aerodynamics. The new version of the lateral extractor is now larger. Post-upgrade, It extends slightly higher and features a flatter profile, maintaining a more constant height along its length. This improves lateral flow expansion, increasing localized downforce and strengthening the edge vortex. As a result, the floor sealing is more effective, and the vortex stability inside the venturi channels is improved. The aim is to widen the aerodynamic map and, in turn, the setup window, thanks to a floor that's less sensitive to variations in the car's characteristic angles. Additional updates were made to the diffuser, especially on its sidewall. The element known as the bulk has been increased in size. While at first glance this might seem counterproductive due to a perceived reduction in overall diffuser volume, the update actually improves flow extraction, enhances efficiency, and ensures more stable airflow. Ultimately, Ferrari is targeting improved vehicle stability and a broader setup range, which is a key objective given the persistent limitations caused by the rear suspension, which has so far restricted the SF25's performance window. Charles Leclerc has, in some way, lowered expectations ahead of the Austrian Grand Prix weekend, a smart move to avoid setting the bar too high for fans who could end up disappointed. The Monegasque driver, always sharp in his technical analysis, stressed that Ferrari's goal is to keep moving in the right direction, with progressive and targeted updates. No revolutions, just small steps aimed at strengthening the weak points of the SF25, especially in balance management and consistent performance. Charles Leclerc remains realistic. The gap from McLaren and Red Bull is still significant, particularly over a single lap. The Woking-based car continues to be the benchmark in terms of development and adaptability. Meanwhile, the Milton Keynes car, although not as dominant as past seasons, remains a solid reference point thanks in large part to Max Verstappen's exceptional talent. There's also an assessment of Mercedes, a team that, according to Charles Leclerc, still delivers inconsistent performance. This inconsistency makes it harder to judge their absolute potential, but it also opens up more opportunities for Ferrari to fight them on equal terms. For the Monegasque driver, the new floor debuting in FP1 at the Austrian GP could represent measurable progress, even if it is still far from enabling Ferrari to fight at the very top. In short, the snapshot reveals a team that is slowly improving but still playing catch-up. As always, the final verdict will come from the track and the stopwatch. On the other side of the garage, Lewis Hamilton has taken a broader view, already focused on the future. The seven-time Formula One world champion hinted that much of what happens on track is just the tip of the iceberg. Between technical issues, operational errors, and setup struggles, his first season in red has not gone as he had hoped. In fact, quite the opposite. But the British driver's narrative is clear. 2025 is a transitional season, meant to lay the groundwork for a real revival. He revealed he is already actively involved in the development of next year's car, working closely with technical director Loic Serra to support the project and ensure that the 2026 car avoids chronic understeer. Reportedly, the focus is on the front and rear suspension systems, areas where Ferrari aims to take a competitive leap. Lewis Hamilton specifically spoke of the need to learn both from current problems and past mistakes. His strategic outlook is to use this experience to build for the future. A competitive and high-level technical package is essential, especially with the biggest regulation change in F1 history approaching. In the meantime, Lewis Hamilton isn't backing down. He is committed to giving his all in the remaining 14 races. The British driver believes his performance will improve from now on, with more convincing showings. Behind the scenes, the groundwork is already being laid for a new chapter.